Hi everyone. I just want to show everyone the power of Vlookup in Excel. It's a powerful tool where you can pull data from one sheet and put it into another. So for example, I have a yearly budget table here that shows the beginning balance of a customer's bank account from January all the way to December. And then it shows the different assets such as their paycheck, that's money coming in, and then it shows the different expenses as money coming out, and then it shows the ending balance by month. So for instance, let's say on another sheet, I want to pull in how much they're spending on cell phone, and I want to see how much the cell phone bill is a part of their ending balance every month. So I go to my VLOOKUP tab, already have a mini table set. So in scenario A, I need to pull in the cell phone data from the table. So for example, I'm going to pull in the cell phone information for the month of January. So in order for the VLOOKUP to work, you have to type in equals VLOOKUP. And what's cool about Excel is Excel helps you write the formula. So after you type in equals VLOOKUP and then you put in parentheses, it's saying for the first part of the formula, it needs the lookup value. So that's the name of the information you're looking for. So I'm going to click on cell phone. So it's going to look up for the term cell phone. Now it's saying, where should I look for it? So I'm going to go back here to my table. I'm going to highlight this entire table here. So the reason I'm doing that is I'm saying I want to look for the word cell phone in this whole table array. Okay. So next I hit comma. Now it's saying what column to look for. So once it finds it, for instance, it's saying what column should I look for the data to pull. So the first piece is we said we're looking for cell phone in this whole table array. It says fine. Once you find that row that has the word cell phone in it, what column do you want to pull the data for? So since I wanted January, I'm going to pull column 2. The reason why is cell phone is in column 1. Cell phone's in the first column. In order for the VLOOKUP to work, the information that you're referencing has to be in the first column of the table. So since the word cell phone is in column B is that first table. It's the first column. Then January is the second column, so on and so forth. So for the column, I'm going to put the number 2, meaning the second column. And then last, it's saying what's the range lookup. Always put false for the VLOOKUP to give you an exact match. Exact match makes sure that the formula is looking for the exact word cell phone spelled the way that's indicated here. If you was to put true, it's going to look for the term that's closest to how it's spelled. So sometimes it may not give you the right answer. So long story short, use false. So when I pull that information back, now it's giving me the number 100. Remember, I mentioned that I wanted to pull the information for January. So the reason why I pulled 100 is it said, okay, look for cell phone. I looked for cell phone. And then the second column in this whole entire table array was January, which is 100. If I change the formula to look up column 3, it should give me 120. So let's see what that says. If I change that 2 to a 3, it gives me 120. So that's how the VLOOKUP works. Now, as you can see, by me looking up different columns, I had to go in here and hard key the number. That's pretty inefficient. So if you're working with large data sets with hundreds of columns, you don't want to have to manually change your formulas each and every time. So I'm going to turn this back to 2, for example. Also, let's say, for instance, I want to also pull in February. So remember, January is in column 2, February is column 3. So you see how I reference cell phone in cell C8? I don't want that to change when I copy my formula over from January to February. So in order to keep that the same, I want to keep the column reference to C the same. Because if I copy this over as is to here, now it's looking up D8, which is not correct. So in order to keep C8 the same, I put a dollar sign in front. Once you put the dollar sign in front of the C, that means column C will stay the same in your formula when you paste over. You can also do that by hitting F4 a few times. So if I click here and I hit F4, you see how I hit F4 the first time, it puts dollar signs in front of the C in front of the 8. Now that's saying, that's called anchoring. So if I do that and I copy the formula, it'll always say C8 no matter what cell I paste into. If I hit F4 again, it'll just anchor the 8. So if I copy the formula all over, it'll always reference column row 8. But the column C could change. If I hit F4 again, then it's going to anchor the C. And now when I copy that over, column C will not change. In this example for the table array, I'm going to anchor both for B8 and both for N16. Reason why is my table array, this whole section, I don't want that to change in my formula ever, because all my data is in that one spot. So now let's see what happens when I copy this formula over to the next cell. When I copy the formula over, as I mentioned before, by anchoring the C, this stays still. Also, because I anchored this piece for the table array, all the formulas there stayed still. Now the issue is, I want this to look up February, but it's still referencing column 2. So in order to pull in February, I'd have to change hard key this to a 3. Now that's accurate. But again, that's pretty manual, a lot of work to always change a column every time you're wanting to paste your formulas over. So what I think is a better alternative is to change your column number and reference that to another cell. So I'm going to show that in scenario B. So I'm going to copy these formulas down. So when I do that, you see how I copied the formulas down? The C, since that was anchored, did not change. Also, your table array did not change. But what I'm going to do is for the column section of the Vlookup, double click here, point that to a cell. Now, if I point that to a cell, and I'll actually anchor that to row 12. Now you see I got the same result, 100, as I did here. I put in, I hard keyed the number 2 in the column here, but this time I pointed the column to this cell. So it's pulling whatever column shows up in cell D12. Now if I copy that formula over, now I get a value error. The reason why is it's looking for the column to reference in this cell, but I didn't put in one. But if I put in a number 3, look what happens. It gives me 120. So that's the third column in your data, cell phone, third column, 120. The fourth column, which is here, would give me 140. So if I was to copy this whole formula over and put row 4 here, now it's looking up the fourth row. So that hopefully will give you some kind of inkling in terms of the power of the VLOOKUP. If I copy this down, now it's looking at the ending balance for the second month, or the second column rather, which is January. So now I have my cell phone information and I have my ending balance information. And now I have another chart that's pulling just the information that I need from my original data set. Thank you and have a good day.